Hello. Welcome to the 8th part of the necromancer's evolutionary traits. At the beginning of this part we see that, at a delusion dormitory, Diane says, and then, Lord Philip, with his one-handed sword. Julik says, Diane, stop your preaching just for a little bit. She says, Julik, if you look hard enough, even you can find a knight to root for. By the way, did you hear? It appears Lucia Everlast passed the Magic Tower potion examination. She says, wow, at that age? I heard she was lazy, but it looks like she's the real deal. But the really surprising part was this. Look, can you believe it? Andreas Cromwell. To think someone as untalented as him managed to help create this potion. When I first heard, I thought it was a lie, too. After his family's downfall, he could only blame his circumstances and talent. What did you accomplish on your own? He said. Did he, that trash, really change? I'll have to confirm this myself. After that we see in the class. Lucia says, Senior, why are you wearing so many clothes? Andreas says, I'm not feeling well. Lucia says, then why are you here instead of resting? Andreas says, I need to attend enough classes to graduate. Andreas thinks, last night, I can't let anyone see this huge scar on my neck. She said something about a fated partner and some smell. What the hell was she talking about? She just bit my neck all of a sudden and disappeared. Professor says, is everyone here? Student says, yes. Then, let us start the lecture right away. Professor says, Andreas Cromwell, why are you wearing so many clothes? Are you sick? Andreas says, yes. I caught a cold. Professor says, you seem to be tired because of your potion research. I already marked you as present, so you may leave. Andreas says, thank you very much. But it feels quite lonely here. You even asked me, a professor of medicinal botany, for advice. Perhaps it was too difficult to include my name? Andreas thinks, what is he saying? You didn't contribute anything, and you want a piece of it? Andreas says, I am really grateful for the advice you gave me, teacher. Especially the one regarding the Hong Pishi extract and the Matarata tree bark. Lucia thinks, is he picking a fight? Andreas says, you said that if I added those, I'd be making soup instead of a potion. But, as you can see, the soup was just too good. Everyone is really surprised. Professor says, you are overstepping your boundaries. Andreas says, since I'm not feeling well, I'll be leaving. Professor shouts and says, Andreas Cromwell. Andreas thinks, when I was just a small fry, you guys kept ridiculing me, but now you want to be friendly? Andreas thinks, just shut up and lick my boots. I can just go to another class if I need credits. Professor says, how long are you going to ignore me? Lucia says, Professor. Professor says, Lucia Everlast? Lucia says, can I explain it on his behalf as someone who co-created the potion? Andreas thinks, what the hell are you thinking? Professor says, go ahead. Lucia says, we learned the basics about making potion in this class. And then, we put those basics to practice. So our conclusion is that doing your own research without anyone's help means a lot. I mean, isn't that our duty as magicians? Professor says, that's right. Andreas thinks, Vauban is being overwhelmed by Lucia. Lucia says, we'll ask for your advice next time, if you aren't occupied enough doing your own research. Vauban says, you can always come for my advice. And you, take care. Get back safely. Andreas thinks, Lucia, you did really well, de-escalating the situation. I still don't know why, but thank you, he says, reporting about the potentially scoutable candidates. First, I will report about the students already enrolled in Rodlin's Academy. Someone is ready a report. He is Wu Ongwa officer or Master Duke Sinclair Cloche. Sinclair Cloche says, so, the Everlast Company's daughter created a new type of potion, and they're making it available commercially? His assistant says, correct. They name it the Everlast Potion and are currently monopolizing its sales. Sinclair says, do you have a sample? His assistant says, yes, sir. Sinclair says, is she already made this while only being a first-year student? Surely many people will try to recruit when she graduates. His assistant says, that is why we need to connect with her now. Sinclair says, also check if there are any other who have got their eyes on here. His assistant says, so, how was it? He says, it surprised me. If they manage to commercialize this, it will revolutionize the market. It's several times more efficient than the one currently available on the market, and there's no side effects. However, there is another thing worth taking note of, Your Excellency. The report stated that the potion was co-create. Cain Cromwell's son? Huh? Did he have a talent for potion making from the beginning? She says, it doesn't seem like it. There is also a rumor circulating, saying that he took advantage of her. But then, would there be any reason for her to add his name? No, and since neither household holds any particular relationship to the other, Sinclair says, then, let's investigate it. If it appears he's awakened a talent, add him to the scouting list. She says, understood. After that, someone says, how's the end-of-year award ceremony going? Just as planned, Your Majesty. The Cromwell family will be demoted. Andreas Cromwell. I look forward to seeing if you are different from your father. Andreas is swinging his sword. It's 9,999 time. He's done 10,000. Andreas drinks the potion he made and thinks, without these, it'd be impossible for me to do this. The regeneration potion increases the recovery rate of my muscles, while the healing potion takes care of my fatigue. And by adding the physical reinforcement potion, I've basically created a system to train infinitely. Andreas says, it was a gamble, but evolving you was the right choice. He thinks, I stressed about it a lot at first, but after some time I decided to evolve it anyway, since the risk was low enough. Andreas Cromwell, Potion Creation Buff Type Evolution. Chance of success, 89% attempt evolution. Andreas Cromwell, you have successfully evolved the Potion Creation Buff Type. Talent, Potion Creation Buff Type Ordinary has evolved into Potion Creation Buff Type Extraordinary. He thinks, the results were so amazing that I felt like an idiot for even worrying about it. I can create way more potions now. The success rate has increased substantially as well. As long as everything keeps going this way and I do my best, I'll be able to grow well. Andreas says, and if I can get a good corpse and some items, I won't need to worry about my fighting strength. And, since Sharon is always away, I can't sell the Page of Sloth to him right away. Andreas see a note on the board. Away due to an urgent business trip. Sharon Diprin. Andreas thinks, is he in such a bad mood that he went traveling and couldn't even let his disciple know? Why is he so petty? He says, I have no other connections besides him. I have medicinal botany classes tomorrow morning, so let's stop worrying and go to sleep. After that, Andreas sees a note on the board in the class, saying, for the reasons mentioned above, today's class will be taught outdoors, as was notified via your table. Vauban. Andreas says, shit. That Vauban bastard. Andreas thinks, did you know I don't have a tablet, and is he using it to get to me? What the hell is he thinking of doing with the students? Rodlin Academy Garden. Everyone is in tension. He says, what? Why is everyone hurrying so much? It looks like an exam somehow. You're late. Andreas Cromwell. Professor says, seems like you were so busy with your own research that you didn't see the notice? Andreas says, how immature can a person be? Lucia says, anyway, come here. I'll explain it to you. Just buy a tablet at this point. You have money now, don't you? So, he discovered an awakening potion and came up with the idea to make an exam to analyze it just like that? Andreas thinks, he must have felt the need to brag about it. Professor says, for someone of your caliber, figuring out the ingredients and proportions of this potion must be a breeze, right? Andreas thinks, you really are one obstinate. Professor thinks, there's no need to be ashamed. You have a very bright future ahead of you. Professor says, today, I'll finally expose you for what you are. He thinks, someone who just took advantage of Miss Everlast, the rising star of the potion world. You are nothing more than a trash student. After that, we see 4 hours later. Awakening Potions Composition Analysis Test Results. 1 Lucia Everlast, 1 hour, 22 minutes, 16 seconds, 100%. 2 Andreas Cromwell 2 hours, 4 minutes, 33 seconds, 100%. 3 Talon Bugman 3 hours, 23 minutes, 1 seconds, 96%. They says, there was no cheating of any kind during the exam. So the Andreas really do have a talent for making potions. Lucia says, good job, Senior Seaweed. Andreas, I'm not a seaweed. My name is Andreas. Professor Vauban, why did you do this to me? Professor says, "You are. Why did you claim the potion I made as your own?" Andreas thinks, "Why?" The 8th part of the necromancer's evolutionary traits ends here. If you want to see more, please subscribe and like. And if you want to support me financially, you can join my channel membership or Patreon only for $1. Patreon and Discord links are in the description if you want to support me. And a special thanks to all my Patreons for supporting me. Thanks for watching.